age, gender, and position. These decide who has the upper hand. As far as Christianity is concerned, these are decided by the church. The well-established, patriarchal, and self-righteous institution of the church decides who has the upper hand over the individual believer. It is the institution that holds the upper hand over the isolated believer. I am Jean de Souza. I come from Ahmedabad, India, and I'm going to talk about how the stereotypical, subservient attributes of Christ are given as role models by the church instead of the radical and revolutionary aspects of Christ, which also exist in him. I'm going to talk about how these radical and revolutionary ideas of Christ can be brought forth to bring about a change in the way we think, to bring about a liberalization of thought, to bring about an immense gentleness of character, and to create an openness, a limitlessness in the character that we have seen till now as only half. The problem is that the Jesus Christ that is exemplified through the attributes in the Gospels and in the Bibles whom we are taught about is a Jesus Christ that is only with the softer and gentler qualities of meekness, humility, obedience, silence, and gentleness. This gives us only half of the image of Jesus Christ, it is true, and it maintains the power structure of the church and the dominant structure of the institution. On the other hand, what is the solution? The solution is to look at or to try and get to know a Jesus who was radical, who was revolutionary, and who had traits that we could also include and emulate in our following of him. Christ was a powerful character, and we can see his power when we look at examples given in the Gospels itself. We see him as overpowering the wind and the sea. We see him as overpowering the demons. We see him as overpowering human behavior. Michel Foucault talks about power as not a violent act, but an act that can control behavior. And this is the kind of power that Jesus Christ emulates when he shows his power through the calming of the storm, the driving out of demons, the cleansing of the temple. Christ's power seems to incite and intensify forms of behavior and thought. The other important radical revisionist trait that I see in Jesus Christ is his public appeal. He had followers, the masses were drawn to him. People wanted to know more about him. People left their homes and families just to follow him. Not only did men, the 12 disciples, leave their homes and follow him, he also had a female following, which the Gospels talk about, but the church does not talk about very much. The woman at the well is an important example. The woman who washes the feet of Jesus is also another example, as well as Martha and Mary, and the many unnamed women in the Bible who kept following him. The fact that he had a female following also emphasizes or highlights his public appeal. Related to this female following is another quality which the church doesn't talk about, but which is becoming increasingly louder today, the trait of Jesus being the Son of Man. The church talks about Jesus as the Son of God, whereas Jesus himself always refers to himself as the Son of Man, the human Son. The point that the question that arises here is that the gender of Jesus Christ is so strongly established throughout history. We are very, very sure that Jesus was a man, the Son of God, not the daughter of God. If the gender of Jesus is so strongly established, then why is his sexuality, why is his masculinity hidden? If God could descend into humanity at all points, if he could take birth and become human, then why could he not also share humanity's sexuality? On the other hand, the qualities that are given to us to emulate as believers, the qualities that are given by the church to follow or to try and imitate, are qualities that are softer and gentler. So these qualities of power and authority and strength and fearlessness, they somehow do not figure in any of the qualities that we are taught, or the qualities that the church tries to teach us. Instead, what we are taught are the softer and the gentler qualities of Jesus Christ that are given as models. And through Sunday school, through teaching, through sermons, through hymns that are sung in the church, these qualities are reinforced repeatedly. We'll just talk about some of these, and though I'm not as good a musician as the previous speaker, maybe I could sing these and show you how, even through the music, as well as through the words, the lyrics, we are taught these traits. The first trait that we are taught is the trait of silence. Oh, the love of my Lord is the essence of all that I love here on earth. All the beauty I see, he has given to me, and his giving is gentle as silence. Silence, then, is the first trait that we are taught to emulate. Jesus was silent, and so should we be. The next trait that we are taught, obedience. Take and receive, O Lord, my liberty. Take all my will, my mind, my memory. Do thou direct and govern all and sway. Do what you will, command and I obey. Obedience, then, is another important Jesus-like quality which we are supposed to emulate. The next trait that we are taught is humility and meekness. Make me a servant, humble and meek. Lord, let me lift up those who are weak, and may the prayer of my heart always be, make me a servant, make me a servant, make me a servant today. So humility and meekness are associated somehow with service. And it's not simply service, it is servantness that is taught to us by the church. So these stereotypically moderate traits are those that are taught to the faithful. The traits of silence, meekness, love, suffering, touch. We don't have time, so I haven't gone into all of them. But these are the traits that are typically traits of submission and obedience. Jesus, however, was not only meek and humble. He was not only silent and obedient. There was a radicalism to him, a revolutionary traits to his character, which somehow are not shown as emulative models for the faithful. Is this because the church wants to maintain a dominant structure, and so it's easy to control and handle people who are silent and obedient, who are meek and humble? The counterbalancing nature of Jesus is highlighted in his revolutionary traits of strength, courage, authority, and power, as well as in his gentle values of love, forgiveness, service, and humility. Both sides of Jesus' extremes are present in the Bible. But somehow, the faithful churchgoer is taught to be meek and humble, silent and suffering. Are the softer values that Jesus is teaching only instruments of domination? Is the radical Christ not revealed to the masses because of fear of toppling the power structure, because of the fear of upsetting the apple cart? Do not the balanced and equipoised traits of Christ have more ethical value? Somehow it feels that the Jesus Christ that we are receiving from the church is only half of himself. I'd like to end with the question, isn't the whole better than the half? Thank you.